I talk about on Button Poetry. I'm like trying to figure out that timing. I'm not doing a very good job at it. A lot of people at work have seen my poem Condoms and are like, we have some things to talk about. Okay, so this poem is called The Magician's Assistant Speaks. The trick is, he actually saws me in half because he's not very good at magic. Every night I lay in that painted box, feel the saw creep into my belly, bite into my spine. The audience applauds as the blood spills across the stage. The spotlight makes it shine. They're dazzled by the silver spilling towards them. My legs phantom dance as he wheels one end of the box away from the other. The audience is reflected onto themselves, admiring their gaping mouths in the mirrors that hide my rugged wound. The trick is, well, it isn't a trick at all. I Raggedy Ann stitch my body back together every night. The only magic here is that I have the stomach to do it again tomorrow. Okay. So we had a whole, this whole fall was just all the Jewish holidays. I don't know how much you guys know about Jewish holidays. We have 18 of them all in a row. So it's just every week I'm going to work. I got to leave early. It's, I got to go. I'm super sorry about that. And now Hanukkah's coming and I'm making everyone at work feel awkward. But I don't know how to introduce myself to God. I don't even know how to introduce myself to regular dudes without a wingman. I never know what to say, especially to the Almighty. But I know I'm Jewish. I especially know when I don't have enough cash on me for a good tip. I especially know when someone's gonna get picked last at sports. All right, I'm especially Jewish when you heard a rumor that Jewish girls are especially good in bed. That's right, I'm Jewish. I'm Jewish on Purim, the holiday when you're literally commanded to drink until you can't tell your right hand from your left. On Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, I fast, but I brush my teeth. I fast, but I drink water if I feel weak in the afternoon because I'm Jewish. When it's convenient, when it fits into the Christian calendar, when I feel like cooking. And don't you know, we're always celebrating something. So don't you want to come over and daven with me? Isn't my body bending over the stove almost like prayer? It's Passover. A man opened fire outside a Jewish community center in Kansas. There's a rumor that Ukrainian Jews will be ordered to register, but I'm Jewish and my mother hated it when I wore my Star of David necklace to school, but I'm Jewish because my grandmother lost too many relatives to concentration camps and then stopped being Jewish. How many deaths would I have to see before I broke a covenant with God? I wasn't given a Hebrew name. I had to take one. I want to pray to God and introduce myself to him, but I don't know the Hebrew names for my relatives, so I have to skip certain prayers in shul. My grandmother took every guttural name to her grave. She wouldn't ever help me be Jewish. It's Passover. I am the wallflower at the coolest party. The alleged shooter of the alleged hate crime was just taken into custody. Rabbis are ripping registration notices off temple walls. Meanwhile, we skip prayers and go straight to the wine. We skip prayers and watch Jon Stewart YouTube clips. We skip prayers. And my grandmother pretended that this was not her story, that she never asked the 4 questions, never wondered what it would feel like to sew a yellow star onto every piece of her clothing. Somewhere in Kansas right now, men are washing prayers. No, they are washing Hebrew. No, they are washing blood off the pavement outside the Village Shalom assisted living facility. It's Passover. I don't know the names for every item on the Seder plate. My friends are counting out each plague in Hebrew. And the only one I wish I knew the word for was blood. You guys, I'm trying so hard to like single-handedly spread the rumor that Jewish girls are good in bed. Like I'm really trying to start that. I'm having like mixed results. It came to my attention recently that I'm like super vanilla in bed. I absolutely didn't know myself. I just thought that I was following slam rules, you know, like no props, costumes, or instruments. I'm just, some laughs. All right, that's fine, that's fine. You don't need to think I'm funny. Yeah, right. No, that's where I'm super torn. Those of you who are slam masters and coaches probably know this. Like a poet lasts like 3 minutes and you're like, disappointing, but like, I'm so glad that you aren't the one that's gonna get a time penalty when we go to Nats this year. Like that's such a thing. You know, it's a thing. It's super a thing. It's super real. Okay, so I have this fascination with the bearded lady. This is just like something about, I'm fascinated with the bearded lady. I wrote some poems about the bearded lady, and then I did some research and found out there was literally a bearded lady named Madame Adrian. So now like that's very important to me. I'm writing a collection of poems about Madame Adrian, who is the Hungarian bearded lady who was out in Budapest for many years in like the early 1900s. So there's a collection that's coming. I have several poems about her. This one is called The Bearded Lady Contemplates Her Husband's Razor. He didn't have a mustache when I met him, but he grew one. When they moved him into the main ring, it grew like the highway, like the road heading out of Kansas to the Golden West. I love the curl of it. Like a young sapling, everything about him seemed like possibility. I forget how it started. No, that's a lie. I forgot when it became our daily ritual. I remember the first time the razor clicked awake, bright and dangerous. My hands shook. I hadn't held one in years. I had learned to hate these instruments of self-loathing, these things my mother bought me when she wished she had a different sort of daughter. But there he was, squinting into that cracked mirror, speckled like a robin's egg hunched over the basin, and I just reached for it. Massaged the shaving cream along his jaw, wet the razor, and traced the lines of his face with the familiar flick of the wrist. Painfully familiar. I still haven't gotten over my hatred of mirrors. I've learned to distrust my reflection. It's too easy to critique. I'm not delicate like the other girls, not like the sword swallowers, the contortionists. They are all movement and elegant silhouettes, perfectly poised against the backlight of the curtain. I am not so lovely. Hidden in a tent, it is such an elegant caste system of beauty, but to be his mirror, face to face, to scrape the whiskers off his chin and cheeks, to wash and wax and twist the long hairs of his mustache. I have always been clumsy, but I know how to hold a razor steady. Maybe it became a ritual in that moment. I can't recall if I reached for the razor the next morning to chase away the shadows darkening the dawn of his smile. Still, I remember perfectly that he looked at me, his hand pressed against my face, too familiar to wince at the prickle of my beard, and he spoke to me as if he was naming me, and he said, "Thank you." Man, she's fun. Thank you for your circus poem, Jeff. That made me so happy to hear. I was like, yes, me too. Okay, so one thing that we've been having a lot of conversations about as a community is like safe space and that sort of thing. So this poem's a little bit about that. That man is still friends with my friends. I mean, he just climbed into bed with me while I tried to sleep it off after the party. He just kissed and touched me. I mean, it was cool though. He could see the consent in my heavy limbs. He could see the yes in my eyes, those dim stars under half-moon lids. The problem, really, is that I don't know how to take a compliment. So we're all at the venue. Laughter only slightly forced. I tease him, and he takes a step towards me and says, "I'm not afraid to fight a girl." And he says it like it's a joke, but his hands curl into a fist. His hands don't know the proper cadence to keep the boys laughing along. And I could poem him right now. Paint him an imposing shadow, a building made of rough brick, a swamp. His hands soaking seaweed. But I'm not feeling poetic right now, so instead, I take a step towards him, say, "I'm not afraid to fight you, motherfucker." And I don't say it like it's a joke, but the boys all laugh anyway. My body is an implied punchline. But he takes a step away from me, and suddenly, he is light through a broken window, a stripped screw, a river I know how to cross. The words bubbled out of my cauldron mouth involuntarily. I am not a witch, clever enough to call them, but if you want to love something in the wild of me, love that creature trusted to hunt, she returns with meat. Thank you all so much for having me. I really, truly appreciate it. It's such an, my friend Dragonfly and I came here a few months ago, and I was here for work, and we just happened, I actually lied to my client and was like, "Oh my God, I can only be here on a Wednesday. I'm so sorry about that. I'm just so busy and important. I apologize." "Oh, well, if you have to." So I totally just came here, right? And then charges the company, Consultant Life, and we just had such an amazing time, and really it's a wonderful show. So I truly feel honored to be sharing my work with you all tonight, and I really appreciate you listening. I do have a chapbook for sale. It's only $10. Haters on the Train.
Only $10? That's so reasonable.
Thank you. I agree. It's called Haters on the Train Won't Stop Me from Wearing Mini Dresses and Listening to Trap Music, because I live in I live in Lincoln Park, and I have to go to downtown to work. I work near the Sears Tower. So I'm with all these loopers, the commuters, and they all look very fancy, and I look like me, and they're listening to fancy music, and I'm listening to Chance the Rapper, and all the Chicago artists that I love, and they all give me looks. And it's I feel the same way about you that you feel about me. There are just more of you, so you're all looking at me. But so I just kind of wrote this as a trying to combat that daily feeling of I'm different than you. We're artists. No one knows what that feels like, right? None of us are familiar with that feeling. So I'm going to do one last poem, if that's cool. We're still good on? Okay, cool. I'm going to do one last poem. Just a little bit of a personal story. My brother's 28 years old. He's been physically disabled since he was 12. Obviously that impacted our relationship a great deal. And he is just undergoing this new treatment, which has made him better. And he's moving to Chicago in 2 weeks and moving a mile from me, which is remarkable. It just feels like a miracle. And so this is a poem that I wrote a while back, just about the difficulty of trying to have a relationship with him in the face of this. A letter to Andrew, my brother. The day you asked me to punch you, I was still fat and tomboy. The delicate bone of your jaw was shrouded in pale skin, and I thought maybe it would even break. When your body was occupied by disease and you couldn't fight it on your own, they planted a terrorist cell in the city of your chest so the medicine could infiltrate your veins, and I thought that scar was a lost battle. Proof that you couldn't protect yourself against colonization. Your room is a museum of agony. We lay whispered conversations at the foot of your door. They fall like offerings. The hallway is haunted by your potential. The paint still hospital sterile, showcasing the lack of degree and postcards and posters. If only you weren't losing this battle for your body, and medicine is just throwing stones at approaching tanks. Years ago, when the same disease infiltrated my body, I turned myself artillery. Illness could not conquer my army, so I am losing sympathy for your dwindling forces. They are taking what good of you they can. Soon you will be nothing left but the etchings on a memorial wall. Disease is this bloodthirsty invasion. They named it Epstein-Barr, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, myalgic encephalomyelitis. They keep naming it, each word foreign as another language. Name it the war of repentance. When I cocked my fist back, I really expected a crack of bone. I really thought I could set you free. Why do you still walk with a cane? Why are you telling me about life after the liberation? You live here now. Do something different now. Do something different. Please, what gods have you sacrificed in the name of tithing? Please, please fight for real or stop talking about war altogether. We've mostly stopped talking altogether. And we were Pangea. I am breaking away from the continent of you before you become an unrecognizable nation. You told me that you wanted me to hit you because I was the one that loved you the same, but my love is the newspaper headlines of a war-torn country. I anticipate the slaughter of you, and I've learned to sleep through the pillage, and I swung again, but my fist couldn't follow through. My arms turned timid. I couldn't even leave a bruise behind. You will always be my border country. We finally stopped. We just stopped.